Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 7 Steps to Mastering Change webinar. And of course, I have a very special guest. You guys probably all know already, Dr. Fred DiDomenico is here. But let me first welcome you and thank you for all being on here live, ready to go right at the start. If you notice on the live page you're watching from, right below the video, you'll see an image of Dr. Fred. In the computer there, you'll see the banner, the 7 Steps to Change. That program is available right now at an extreme discount. In fact, tomorrow night at midnight, this program will go from $497 to $997. Now, don't get me wrong. This program is worth way more than $997. If you go ahead and buy it at that amount, trust me, it'll be a game changer. But why not get it now at $497? Click on that link, the 7 Steps to Change, and you can get it right now. It should open in a new window. It won't even stop this live feed from going. So right below that, you'll actually see a live chat. Feel free to ask questions. I'll make sure that Dr. Fred sees those. But again, thank you for being here. I know that there's still more people flooding in, but I want to go ahead and introduce Dr. Fred DiDomenico. How are you, man?
Great to be here. You know, this is, like you said, it's a game-changing product, and it's just so different. We look at 7 Steps to Mastering Change. These are 7 steps, emotional steps that you're going to take a patient through, really. And this is a life coaching template that really you can use in yourself. You can use with your kids. You can use with your spouse. It's really a communication program to help people that are stuck in a specific mindset, take them through that mindset and bring them into an empowered state where they can make empowering decisions to change their life. Now, doesn't that sound like chiropractic?
Absolutely.
Right? That's the person that comes in, doc, just cracked my back. And what do we want to do? We want to help them live a chiropractic lifestyle. So the real question is, why do we do this? Why did I spend 2 decades chiropractic learning how to help people change their lives? Well, one evidence was last year Gallup did a study and they determined 14% of Americans go to chiropractors. 70% of that 14% think it's about neck and back pain. Now, at some point, you know, we know chiropractic is a sole purpose, right? And the purpose is to live a life, you know, to live an unsubluxated life so people can live their potential. Isn't that really the chiropractic purpose? And isn't that why we're chiropractors? Isn't that our intention?
Yep.
So after 121 years or whatever, right, 30% of 14%, what's the math on that? 4.2%, we're in single digits, basically understand what the chiropractic principle is. So after 121 years, 4.2% of the American public know what chiropractic is. Well, at some point, you know, how have we done? You know what I mean? Is that why we get into chiropractic? So what I found is, you know, we need to pop the bubble of doing what we've always done. And all I did was say, you know, it's not that I'm smart, but the reality is, isn't chiropractic a message for humanity? Are you inspired to see humanity view chiropractic for what it was really created for? Did all those chiropractors die? Did all of them put their blood, sweat, and tears and pave the road that we drive on so we can make chiropractic? 14%, 70% of those think it's about neck and back pain. The reality is, when is it enough? And on Chiropractic Thought Leaders, Tabor, you sent out the tape where Dr. Chris spoke at the Elite Seminar, and he said one compelling reason that people are motivated to make a change is disgust. Yeah. Well, what it was years ago, I was disgusted to say, you know, if we don't change the way we're communicating impression in the general public, then we're going to keep going where we're at. And I don't want to wait 500 or 600 years, spend 120, 4.2%. What, do we got to wait 800 years? Who knows, man? The planet may blow up by then. So what I did, again, and this is on the intro video that you guys will see, all I did was say, what are the world-class leaders doing? And so what I found was I was already a life coach. I looked at Tony Robbins. Now, some people may or may not like Tony Robbins. I don't want to be like Tony Robbins. Tony's Tony, does what he does. You know what I mean? I don't want to be 6'8", but the bottom line is he takes 8,000 people across 2,000-degree coals in 15 hours. He has thousands of people that were a 9 out of 10 out of suicide and has never lost one. So if he can take people from suicide, do you think we can get a spouse to an ROF? Do you think we can inspire a patient to live their life differently? If a suicide person can live their life differently, I'm pretty sure we could take a back pain patient and teach them the chiropractic principle. Okay. And that's what it is. Now, all of this, gang, 7 steps is based on human behavior. This is research-based stuff on how to take people through a change, to coming in with one perspective, changing the way they think, finding the inspiration, identifying limiting beliefs, finding the inspiration so they want to live their life differently. That's what it is. The template is a horseshoe. Now, I'm going to go through the 7 steps very briefly. I'll introduce them in a sec. But how do I know this works? Because I've taken literally, and elite coaches have taken well over 200 doctors. God, I haven't counted, but it's hundreds of doctors in the last 8 years that we've taught this process. And now we have what's called the 90-day difference. Will you see an average guaranteed a 30 to 50% growth in your practice from patients committing and turning into lifetime patients in 90 days? Now, the 90-day difference program is we're so confident that when you learn these 7 steps and you master them, you'll see an average of 40% growth in 90 days. And if you go to the boot camps and learn this in way more detail, that coaching is free. Now look at this. Who's ever made that claim? Guaranteed growth. Now here's how you look at it. I'm either crazy. Well, I've done crazy things in my younger years. I'm either stupid. I've done some pretty stupid things in my younger years, or this really works. So if we're willing to hang our reputation out in public and say there's guaranteed growth to go through this system, then maybe it just works. Yeah. And maybe if you took a look at it, I pretty much guarantee, the average chiropractor gets about a 20 to 50% commitment to care. Now, I'm not talking about starting people. Anybody can start somebody for 6 visits. You know what I mean? You can start anybody for 6. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking commitment to corrective care, minimum 40 visits. We're talking 80 to 100 visits. Most chiropractors, 20 to 50%. So you could say, well, I get more than that. Well, if you do, you're truly an outlier. But the average of talking to hundreds of doctors over 15 years, 20 to 50%. So that means 5 to 7 to 8 of your patients are walking out your door at some point, either in the first week or below 30 visits, most likely below 20. Okay, so if you're in that realm, is that why you got into chiropractic? Or could there be something different? All I've proposed is it's not that I'm that smart. I just believe in the chiropractic principle. I believe it's all of our sole purpose. I think we need to take responsibility for humanity. I think 4.2% in 121 years is embarrassing. And sometimes you look in the mirror and you say, if it's not you, then who? Yeah. And so I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, 20 years of life force to master how to take a person, no matter where they're at, and be able to get them into an empowered state. Now, the reality is 16% of the people, no matter what you do, they're not going to commit. But if you can get an 84% commitment and 8 out of 10 and take them to 100 PVA, then you're changing minimally your community. You're changing the consciousness of those people. And that's what BJ talked about, the big idea. You're changing the consciousness of the planet, and you're creating leaders that will redefine chiropractic in the general public for you. So that's our goal. Our goal is not to create a chiropractic patient. That's where chiropractic has failed, is we set short-term goals. Our goal is to create inspired leaders living a true chiropractic lifestyle that become messengers that go out in the world and change other people for us and with us. And that's what 7 steps does. So if you think when you're shaking a new patient's hand and saying, hey, my name is Dr. Fred, welcome to United Medical Chiropractic, your intention is to create a chiropractic patient, I'm going to ask you and invite you to think bigger and learn how to create an inspired leader. Not only will leaders live that lifestyle, but they're going to bring people with them. Does that sound like chiropractic principle?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Before I oops, am I echoing here? There we go. Before you go into the detail on the 7 steps, I just want to let everybody know, if you're listening or if you're watching a replay, that there is a direct link, and that website is the7stepstochange.com. The number 7 steps to change.com. And like Dr. Fred said, you get to see an intro video. We worked hard on this program. He flew down here to Houston and filmed just some amazing content. We've got tons of feedback on it already from the people who are already going through this program. So I'll turn it back over to you, Dr. Fred. I just wanted them to let them know the 7stepstochange.com.
Now, when you put these 7 steps, let me go through them. Number 1 is understand their world. What it is you really have to understand not just what they're saying, but their internal language. So we teach you literally how you set your state, your mood, your tone, how you use your body, how you understand basic human behavior, so you can actually hear their internal language. You know, by the way they move, by what they say, you determine. You have 6 human needs. You learn that the 3 barriers that prevent change. You know, something's inevitable, something in their past they can't change, something that's out of their control. You learn four ways that people make key decisions. You know, the earlier decision is made, the more powerful it is. You know, I mean, so you're going to learn how people make decisions, and based on what they say, you're going to learn their emotional pattern. You're also going to learn there's certain archetypes of people. Archetypes, but there's different personality types in different categories, and how to talk to those people and learn their belief systems. So when a person says, I don't believe in chiropractic, you know, I talked about this on the intro video. What do we say? Well, we use the analogy. Well, you know, that's like not believing in gravity. You know, has anybody got a new patient using gravity analogy? How many times have you used the analogy of a dentist? You know, facts at some point don't move people. We have to find out why they have that belief system. And we're going to show you the patterns of how people develop belief systems, how those belief systems limit change, and 7 steps to overcome those so they become a lifetime patient. Is that powerful? Mm-hmm. So number 1, understand their world. You got to know what their belief systems are. What's their internal language, what they're not saying. So what's that mean? That means when someone says, what's my insurance cover? There could be 10 different reasons. You know what I mean? So how to hear what they're not saying. The second one is you got to create leverage. That means they have to take responsibility. One reason your patients walk out is they never took responsibility for their health. So what it is we have a standard for their health up there, but we didn't know how to help them raise their standard. That's why they say, doc, just crack my back. Because they had a limiting belief and a perspective that you didn't know how to change. You're trying to change them with facts, and you think because it makes sense to you and you're convicted on it that I'm just going to tell you what this is, and you should believe it like I do, and if you don't, you just didn't get it. When the reality is, how long did it take you to get it? Did you go from 0 to 1,000% conviction the first time you heard something? Now, maybe some people did. But I'll tell you, Dr. Chris Zaino didn't, and he even had a near-death experience in his conviction. Was it Billy DeMoss didn't?
Right.
You know, Joe Borio almost failed in practice, so I had 1,000 a day on his schedule, and he almost failed in practice for the first 2 years. So if the greatest leaders in the profession today didn't get it overnight, why would a patient? Right? They're not even at seminars. They don't listen to these webinars. So until they take responsibility, and I'll show you how to do that. Second is you got to interrupt the pattern. So 7 steps. Imagine the analogy of a freight train. It's going down a railroad track. What is that? That's an emotional tone, an emotional resource. That's someone that looks at the world a very specific way, and they're going down these train tracks. It's like a hamster on a wheel, and they don't know how to change because their belief system have been wired into them possibly for decades. And unfortunately, chiropractors have supported that. Why? Because we've accepted back pain patients. You know, we didn't know how to change them. So they've been to 8 different chiropractors that were willing to take their $40 6 times and crack their back and hopefully you'll get it. And they don't. And they've done that 8 different times. So now that decision is supported. It's one of the fourth key decision, right? Decisions that have been rewarded and repeated. Chiropractic has reinforced that and has created an emotional dysfunction in patients. That's one of the 4 key decisions. There's ways to handle that. So they're going down this emotional freight train, right? So understand their world. What you're doing is you're looking, hey, you know what? You're going in this direction. And I hear your belief systems, and I know why you're going in that direction. Step 2, create leverage. That means take responsibility. That means the patient saying, okay, at least I see where I'm going. I'm going into the state of disease in a subluxated body. Let's take responsibility. At least they say, yes, I am. I at least understand my body's getting sick. Interrupt the pattern is like, boom, knocking that freight train off the tracks. Right? Now, once you knock them off that tracks, it's almost like derailing it or switching the track. So all of a sudden they're going this way. All of a sudden they take a left turn. I'll give you examples of these. Step 4 is redefine the problem. Now, what's that mean? All of a sudden you switch the tracks, pattern interruption. Step 4 is like, now they go, oh, okay, now I'm going this way. Okay. Now I see I'm going a new direction, and that has a new meaning. Step 5, condition a new state. What's that mean? Wow, this is much better. I mean, introduce a new state. Wow, now that I can see this new direction, sorry, I'm not looking at you. I'm pretending I'm going in a new direction.
You're good.
Wow, that's leading me to, wow, I went from the desert. Now I'm going towards this waterfall. Down the desert, I was really friggin' thirsty with my family. Now wow, this is a way better place. Condition it means I'm excited about it, now related to their purpose. And that family could be, I'm taking my family to swim in a pool of water. Right? And that's it. So how does that look? Well, understand their world. So let's go. I'm just going to go through a quick 7 steps of direction. So let's say one of the things is people say, okay, one of the reasons that stop people, they'll say, let's say high blood pressure. It's been in their family. So one thing to stop people, something that's inevitable, right? So say, you know what? It's genetic. How many times have you heard that?
Million.
Genetic, doc. See, and you're like, and what do you want to do? Give them facts. Well, let's say it's high blood pressure. Well, the nerves in the upper back, send straight to the heart. So we help people with this every day. And some people, if they don't believe it, because why? They've been conditioned their whole life that our family has this disease. And you try and help them. Some people will go, wow, really? An empowered person will say, Rob, really? I didn't know that. Let's check it out. And some people immediately, you're crazy. Chiropractors think they can help everything. You already broke rapport. They may not even show up for the x-rays. So that's people that say, doc, just fix my back. And you're trying to tell them, look, we can correct this. But what? Their MD said, well, I have arthritis. It'll never get better. 8 different chiropractors adjusted them and it got better, but they didn't know how to fix them. So they believe chiropractic's about back pain. So they reinforce the decision. Now you try and tell them you can fix them, but I've had all these doctors over 20 years tell me it can't be fixed. And you're going to tell them that it can? They're not going to believe you. You know what I mean? So these are things that block people. So you understand why the decision's made. We'll understand their world. So let's go through this. Okay. So doc, you know what? It's genetics. Let's say it's high blood pressure. So you got to validate them, understand their world. So I say, okay. So being that we know it's something inevitable that's out of their control, and their parents have said, our family has high blood pressure. You watch 2 people in your family die. It's so ingrained in them that they say, I understand. So you have seen a lot of people in your family, even had 2 people in your family die, and you've been told your whole life this is the way it's going to be, and it's in your genetics. So really, you believe this is the way life's going to be. It's an inevitable. So I use that word. And let's say, yes, I do. Well, now you're establishing rapport. So you take responsibility. So one way would be, so for every person with a genetic predisposition, does every person in every family that has a predisposition, do they get the disease? Now, what's the obvious answer? The answer is no. So they're starting to take responsibility. That's also a pattern interruption. That's step 2 and 3 combined. I would say, so if some people, if you knew you had a genetic predisposition, and if not everybody gets it, do you think those people do something different than the people in their family that did get it? Think they do something different? The minute they say yes, you're starting to interrupt and reframe the pattern. But notice what I'm doing is I'm not giving them facts. What I'm doing is asking them questions that create a mind shift. You're changing their mindset. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so then I'd say, do you want to end up like your uncles that passed away? Heck no. Do you like the fact that your life is dependent on this bottle? Because what's your blood pressure if you don't take it? Well, it's 170 over 120. Well, that's heart attack. Yeah, I know. That's why I take it. Man, sure. I hope you don't go on vacation and lose your luggage. You know what I mean? That bottle's in your luggage, right? That's a pattern interruption. So I'd say for those people that didn't do that do things, if there was something you could do you think research has advanced a lot more now? Do you think we know things now that we didn't know 20 years ago? Yep. You'd say yes. Of course, now I'm asking more questions than actually what you need to ask. I'm giving you examples. So they say, yeah, we have more information. So that there was some information that was available that could help people like you, would you at least want to hear about it? Because we have people that come in like you that believe they can never change. And when we show them some of this and they do it, they get off their medication. Now what you got to do is appeal to their emotion. And they gain confidence back that they can be healthy. See, what are they buying? They're buying confidence. They're buying freedom. And they actually become free from the burden of knowing they have a heart problem. So would you like to take a look at that? Small agreement. So you don't tell them, look, you can be healed. It's too big of a jump.
Yep.
But if you take them, see, all I did was I understood their world. They took responsibility. I had a total mind shift. I redefined the problem and showed them that because of research, there's things possible that weren't possible when you first heard that you didn't have a choice, right? And then on day 2 and day 3, we take them through. So if I wanted to introduce a new state, then I'd say, how would you feel if you weren't dependent on that bottle? If there was something you can do that you had the confidence you didn't have to have blood pressure and be prone to a heart attack, how would you feel? They go, wow, I'd feel amazing. Then I'd say, okay, would you like to hear about it? Would you like to hear how other people felt like you began to feel amazing too? Now, all of a sudden, you change their state. You change their physiology. See, if a person loses hope and you can take them into amazing, it raises how they feel in their body and makes them want to say yes to change. Now, for the other 2 steps, those are on day 2, day 3 at the workshop. So there's an example. Excuse me for coughing. Now, what would be another way? Per se, doc, just cracked my back. We've been to 8 different chiropractors. So they're looking, let's say they're looking at their x-rays. Well, let's say, at least in the elite system, when you look at day 1, day 2, you'd shift them in their posture. You know what I mean? Show them you got left thoracic translation. So, hey, if the upper body is 70% of your total body weight, I'd get on their shoulders, I'd smash them down. I get it. You've been to all these chiropractors, and your MD said they can never fix it. Doc, I have arthritis, it can't be fixed. How many times do we hear that? Just cracked my back. You know what? It's my work. How many times you hear all these excuses? Yep. So I'd say, who told you it can't be fixed? Excuse me. Well, my medical doctor, I'd say, you know what? Understand their world. He's exactly correct. In his office, they aren't getting fixed. I go, do you think he spent 20 years learning the most advanced system of biomechanics? In this place, we've implemented the most advanced system of spinal biomechanics that you're not going to say help them. It not only helps people with chronic problems like yours, but actually corrects them and gives them a strong, healthy spine and a strong, healthy life. Now, I'm not saying I can help you, because if you move them too fast, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'd say, so you've been to chiropractors. Did any of them say they could say, first of all, did they x-ray you? Yes, they did. Did they tell you it was going to get worse? Yes, they did. Okay. So you knew it was going to get worse. Did they ever give you a program that they said they correct it? Then if they say, no, they didn't, then you say, so they didn't know how to do that. They didn't know how to fix it. So you just accepted the fact that of their limited knowledge, but you didn't know the difference. See, that's responsibility. Did they ever say they put you on a program, then they would re-x-ray you? Now, if they said yes, then you say, how come you didn't do it? Now that's responsibility. So you've had opportunities to get a strong, healthy body in life, and you haven't chosen it. I want to ask you why. See, if they said that they went to chiropractor and made recommendations to fix it, and you don't confront them on that, they're going to do the same thing. So that's responsibility and pattern interruption. Right? Yep. Now, if they have degeneration, you go, your spine, do you look at this thin disc? You see your spine's aging. Right? It's breaking down. Now, if you've done like a consultation we teach, you have 16 or 18 different health problems. Is this really about your low back, or is this really about how your whole spine is weak, breaking your health down? And your low back is just what got your attention. There's a redefine the problem. That's why you need to focus on organs in a consultation. So a lot of the objections you're facing is because your systems didn't already handle those.
Let me no, I keep getting do you hear an echo? Okay, there we go. No, okay, so as we wind down the webinar here, let me go ahead and ask you, Dr. Fred, this question that Dr. Emil posted, which kind of ties into exactly what you're talking about. He says, thanks for the info on this program. Obviously, he's purchased the program. He says, we're having a problem with re-signs, which this program, you can share how this program will actually help him with those. Also, he says, we've had a patient, and they say that they thought their insurance would cover more in the ROF after the doctor's report, and so they didn't sign. Any help with these two scenarios would be great.
Okay, first of all, the re-signs are the type of re-exam that you're doing. We have an 8-step re-exam. Re-signs, if you're waiting, there's a number of reasons. There's a number of system, I hate to be strong, but it really is failures that happened before then. Number one, every re-exam, they have to repeat their whole program. God, there's so much to that. So if we look at 7 steps, first of all, before you even get to that re-sign, you got to remind them this is a checkpoint, right? If you got to get to 90% correction for lifelong health, at this x-ray, we're expecting 50%. And so this starts the way you make the recommendations. It starts with the whole re-exam. I mean, there's a number of things there, how to prevent this. So in 7 steps, understand their world. So what are they going to say? Doc, I'm going to quit. I'm not going to continue. I would say, why? Understand their world. It's hard because we've already handled this. So what would be an example of their reason?
They feel good.
I feel great. Yeah. I would say, well, then you didn't write their 20 to 30 year health goals. Again, these are all failures in the first week.
Right.
So I would say, that's a very short-term goal. It was my impression that you came here to be healthy. So then I'd say, what level of postural correction, spinal correction you have to be for lifelong health?
90%.
90%. You say that at the beginning. So if you didn't say that, then I'd say, do you believe that the structure of your spine is strong to where it's going to stay that way? Well, I feel good. I didn't ask you that question. Do you believe that you've gotten to the level of correction where it's going to give you lifelong health?
Right.
And if they say, well, I don't know, I go, do you think that's important to know? There's responsibility. Mm-hmm. So if we didn't get that correction and the structure collapses, now this is still a fact, then I say, then what's happening to your health every day? Because you stop here, you already know within 24 hours, your body's starting to collapse and get sick. There's stress on the spinal cord within 24 hours. And you already know that every day that gets worse and worse. Would you agree? You know that. Yeah. So if you're going to take the time, if you're not going to take the time to go a little bit further to have lifelong health, then are you taking the time? What are you taking the time for? Are you taking the time for disease? So you would rather take the time for disease than go for long health. Is that what you're telling me? There's a total pattern interruption. Now, if you say, well, I can't say that, what happens if you don't?
Right.
See, if you don't interrupt the pattern at that level, they're walking out anyway. What are they going to do? Get mad at you? And this is where we teach you the mindset of a coach. The mindset of the coach isn't to confront people. The mindset of the coach is to be a mirror for what they're saying. So it's not about you. What I'm doing, I just mirrored what their decision is. Now, the reason people get upset is they don't like to see what's in the mirror. So if you don't like, and that's what you say, I go, Mr. Jones, all I'm doing, and you're redefining the problem and pattern interruption and taking responsibility all at the same time. All I'm doing is trying to understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? So here's where, hey, it's not about me. And that's what allows you to be able to be a mirror. Now, there's a mindset to being a self-empowerment coach. Because if you want people to change the way they live their life for them and their family and everybody they know, is that your purpose? Just go ahead and say yes, everybody.
Yes.
You are actually being a self-empowerment coach with a healthcare application. The problem is you've never been professionally trained. All I'm saying is I've been through 20 years of professional training, and I boiled it down to 7 steps straight from life coaching, Tony Robbins, all this stuff. 7 steps that can teach you in a behavioral pattern that you can take people through to handle objections, to change their mindset, to get into an inspired state. So I've taken 20 years and taken this 7 steps I learned from Tony Robbins coaching. All I did was apply it to chiropractic. Now, here's my question to you. If Tony Robbins was in that re-exam, what's the probability that patient would commit?
Oh, man. He would.
He's not a chiropractor. You are.
Right.
But if you think he would get a commitment, then why don't you just learn what he does? He's doing 7 steps.
That's good,
That's
man.
all I did.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, guys, again, the 7stepstochange.com, or if you're watching live, you can click below this video. Go there now. I mean, this just like Dr. Fred just said, this is professional training. We have to become professional communicators. We have to be able to get our message across, and really, it's about mastering the art of change. We've created what you get when you purchase this program. It's only $497. Where can you actually get professional training for that? It goes up to $997 tomorrow at midnight, so get it tonight, and that way your entire team can start training on this program. You're going to get a PDF download that takes you through all the one-liners, everything you need to know about the 7 steps. So you can have it as a reminder. You watch all the videos, you train on the videos, but you have this PDF download printed off so they can remind you about every step and everything that you need to do there. You'll get all the audios to every single video that we did, all 7 steps. The audios can be downloaded as one full audio. Put it on your phone, have your staff put it on their phone, and just pop it in the earbuds, and you can listen to it all day long. And then you'll also get, we're going to actually do a live private hangout with Dr. Fred for the people who have purchased this program, where you can ask any questions you want. It's almost like just a live group coaching session, and it's going to be for everybody who joins the 7 Steps to Change program. Get it now before tomorrow. Just get it now tonight, as soon as you watch this or listen to this. And Dr. Fred, as we start to wind down and end this program, anything else you want to add before we go?
Yeah, this is really important. You know what? It's not about the price.
No,
because it's priceless. I mean, it's not about the $497. It's not even about the $997. What it's about is your spiritual commitment to know that you came in this life and every subluxated person is standing in front of you for a reason. And if these 7 steps could get 2 to 3 out of 10 more people committing to care and get 8 out of 10 into lifetime care, it's not about you. It's not about your purpose. Nothing's ever been done like this. Nobody's ever brought this into the profession. It's been proven with hundreds of doctors. And you know what? You don't have to buy this. But with every person that walks out, see, here's a problem. You have a gift. They walk out, but you get adjusted at the end of the day. And at some point, when do we share that gift and become responsible enough to the level where every person counts? It's not the $497. Forget the $497. All we're doing is making it easy. You have to decide, are you ready to fulfill your purpose on a higher level? Do you take responsibility for every person that's standing in front of you because you and your family is getting adjusted? Those families are not. So when you let go of whether or not it's about you, whether or not you look at however you may look at it, and you move beyond that and you say, I want to help and serve more people that I don't know how to handle their objections, and I want to be more predictable, more consistent, create more lifetime patients than ever before, that's when you do it. Now, here's my personal commitment. If you have a question on 7 steps, call me anytime. I don't care if there's 20,000. I want 20,000 phone calls, because then we're impacting humanity. So anybody that does that, call me anytime. I'll help you. We'll do these webinars. I want you to create more lifetime leaders in chiropractic, because this is the only way we're going to change the planet.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's my personal commitment.
Well, I can't add anything else to that except to say that the 7 Steps to Change program has been tremendous in my own office, and I'm very excited for every single one of you that are going to join this program, go through it, train, give it to your staff to train on, and it's going to be a huge game changer, as we say. So thank you all for being here live tonight, and we will see you on the next one, the 7stepstochange.com. Check it out. Good night, guys.
Thank you.